Well, hey friends, welcome back to our Acts Bible reading series today. We're picking up in Acts 22, and the chapter begins with Paul doing something he's had to do many times. He's defending himself. But I want you to notice the way that he defends himself. Go read the whole chapter and you'll see it. But Paul doesn't defend himself. He doesn't defend what he's doing by coming up with a good logical argument. He doesn't quote a bunch of scriptures. The way that he defends himself is by telling his story. And he goes back and he's telling of the day that he first met Jesus. He was actually on the way to Damascus. He was going to persecute Christians. And he has this experience where there's this bright light from heaven that comes down, it blinds him, and Jesus comes and he says, "Why are you persecuting me, Saul?" And basically in this moment, Paul is given a new experience. He's blind, he's led into the city by his friends, and there's a man there named Ananias. And Ananias comes and he speaks words of blessing over Paul, and he invites him into something new. I want you to see what Ananias says to Paul after he has healed him of his blindness and invited him into something. This is Acts 22. We're going to pick up in verse 14. Then Ananias said, "The God of our ancestors has chosen you to know his will, to see the righteous one, and to hear his own voice. For you will be his witness to all the world of what you have seen and heard." Now, here's what's interesting. Paul is telling this story, and he is living out exactly what Ananias said would be true. He says, you've been called by the God of the universe to bear witness to people by telling your story, by sharing the story of what you've seen and experienced, what you've seen God do over and over again. And that's exactly what Paul is doing. He's living into the call that he was given. So for me and you, we have a story to tell. We all have stories of what God has done in and through us. We have stories of the ways that God's delivered us. We have stories of the way that God has healed us, stories about how God has transformed us from the inside out. And the way that you bear witness to who God is by telling that story, by sharing with everyone that you know what God has done in you. So what's your story? And how can you share that with people? How can you tell people about what God has done? It's the easiest way and the most effective way to point to who God is and what he's up to in the world. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Grace and peace, my friends.